All right, we're live for the
Welcome
final
to
time.
the final episode of Labs Talk
Yeah.
this year.
Welcome to the last episode and to our, I would say, a very chatty end of year episode where we just quickly wanted to recap the exciting 2025. To keep it short, main topic, AI. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably really the one topic that we're going
Yeah.
to discuss today. And we're doing this for the fourth or even fifth time that we review the past year already, is it?
Yeah, that's true. And to be honest with you, the difference for me between this year and all the years before, I mean, yes, last year was also a heavy focus on AI,
Mm-hmm.
right? I remember at the end of the last year, the whole topic of agentic AI came up. So that was getting more interesting. And I think it really has ruled 2025. But the years before, we had a wild mix of topics, right? I remember we
so much.
sometimes had sustainability and stuff like
that. That's true. Like 2024, we had sustainability
Yeah.
as a block of topics. We had robotics as a block of topics, which was super exciting.
Yeah.
And
I mean, this year,
not also this year, like just to go into what we are going to discuss, we did plan for sports, and we've been pretty proud of that. Like it did totally fall apart, but we,
and the way I would put it actually, right? So when we talked about sustainability some years ago, for example, I think there was really a big movement in the industry, in the market somehow, right? So there was a reason to do that, right? But comparing it to this year, when we talked about sports, for example, it's not like sports and sports technology has become a major trend or something like that. I mean, yes,
No,
it's a topic, it's interesting,
Mm.
but the one thing that really has ruled the world is AI and agentic AI.
And at least it did dominate our world. Like
Yeah.
the sports topic, we started out of an intrinsic motivation. We were curious when we reached out to a couple of people.
Yeah.
And we did plan that. We had more guests than actually showed up. I do remember how proud we were. We planned like, I don't know, like 5 or probably 6 episodes, out of which like 3 really happened.
Yeah. That's true.
We,
I mean,
put a lot of effort into it.
So to end the discussion about the different diverse topics and stuff like that, right? I mean, and we know it, right? We prepared our pad, or how do we call it, our mural board, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had 3 focus areas for 2025, right? There was sports, there was quantum, and obviously there was agentic AI and everything around AI, basically, right? That's how we totally ended, and I think that's how we probably also will go into 2026, actually talking a lot about a lot of AI.
Obviously, if you guys want to hear about anything in particular, if you want to dive into a particular topic that's not AI,
let us know.
Just let us know. Let us drop us a comment.
Exactly. Yeah. And maybe it's also a good time to actually point out all the past episodes. So we're going to talk about all these episodes now. And if you want to watch one of these episodes, just go to labstalk.dev. Okay, that's where you actually. That's what's that's a little HTML page that redirects to YouTube, and that's where you can watch all the past episodes. And some of them, I guess, were really, really, really interesting. But let's start maybe with sports, right? So we started with sports in 2025. Why? Why did we start? How did we come up with sports, actually?
Which is literally a good question. Like out of all that preparation that we did we do any sports episodes as part of last year already? No, we did start the year with sports.
Yeah, I think
it's not like
we did start it,
that just swapped over or something.
I think the idea was basically we're both a lot into sports, right? Cycling and running and stuff like that. And we wanted to combine that with something that makes sense from a business perspective. So we wanted to combine it with technology. And that's why I reached out to sponsorships and
everybody else in that series. I do remember we reached out to Sandra Bloy, who was last in that series of episodes. We reached out to her in late 2024. I do remember that because we were so planned for all of that. That happened the year before already.
Yeah, we planned for that, definitely.
It turned out in a different order after all. We did speak to Lars Lamade. He's a colleague of ours, and he's running global sponsorships. That was the first episode of the year.
Exactly, and there was a mix of like talking about sports itself. I think I remember he came with one of these ice hockey shirts, I believe, right?
Yeah.
To us, and we had a local recording here in Munich, which was also great. And then we talked about how this kind of how sports in the end can be used to actually drive the technology adoption, I believe, right? And the development in some of these areas. That was quite interesting.
He was talking about that 4 pillars, hospitality for a large corporate like ours, but also I learned we have our own solutions that help sports teams to manage their team better. In a nutshell. Guess I'm putting it all wrong, but we do have a software solution for.
Yeah. And that's also one thing I definitely take from that episode is that that SAP has a lot of solutions that really make sense in this whole sports entertainment area, right? Whether it is actually paying for your tickets or even getting a ticket and then getting at the entrance, basically scanning a ticket, or maybe even kind of buying your fries and Coke, basically somewhere.
More on a side note, and that probably also touches our next guest a little bit when we spoke to
Sasha
Schmidt, who's a professor for technology in sports, I remember. We had the next conversation with him on the technological influences on different stakeholders in sports, like athletes, fans, management.
Yeah.
And we had that matrix. But one thing out of a personal experience, when we reached out, when we thanked all our guests for the end of the year, Sasha came back. He was talking about his new book, Diversify or Die, and the future of sports is entertainment. I went to Topgolf in Oberhausen the other weekend.
Oberhausen is a small city around Munich?
No. It's a large city in the Rhine-Ruhr area.
It's a large city?
It's somewhere between Essen and Düsseldorf. And
many people will probably ask, where's Essen, where's Düsseldorf, right? Like somewhere in Germany.
It's not a small place, come on.
Okay.
It's just here from a Munich perspective. That's a different part. It's North Rhine-Westphalia. It's Dortmund, Düsseldorf, Essen, all that. Like, I know.
So what's
my apologies to everybody listening. But that Topgolf thing, that was an entertainment place to start with.
Okay.
Like basically a driving range.
Yeah.
Where you play golf. It's just so much technology-driven entertainment style.
Interesting.
We didn't make a reservation that's exclusively online. So we came there on short notice. We couldn't go golfing or driving because all the lanes were booked. It's a lot like a bowling experience, but golfing. And I have no words for the dimension that I met there. What we ended up with, we had dinner, sports bar style in front of a huge big screen. The building we have here is probably not enough to host that screen. And we ended up watching soccer on a big screen, like a couple of meters tall and wide.
Just critically asking basically what's left when it comes to sports, to real sports. So you mainly passively watched sports there?
Well, in that case, that's because we did not make a reservation, but you go there, it's a
then
driving
you can play
range.
Golf, right? But you didn't do that, basically. You came for the entertainment.
The architecture is very much like a driving range, like there's one box next to each other on like 3 or 4 floors, and there's like hundreds of people driving balls from that driving range. And for that, we didn't have a reservation, but people got active. It's just we didn't have that reservation. We ended up with beer and food.
And no, I mean, it's almost the next episode we did was with Sandra Bloy, and that's about esports. And to be honest with you, my assumption of esports was that's the passive stuff, basically. My assumption was those are the fat guys and girls basically sitting in a chair and passively playing something, right? And somehow something happens. But no, it turns out esports, that's actually the part where you need to be really fit, I believe.
Yeah. The one thing that still baffles me a lot is that your career in esports is basically over by the age of 25.
Yeah,
so
that's also true. Yeah.
We're both way too old, and that's still the feeling I have. It's such a strange thing, at least from my perspective, even though it's a multi-million-dollar business still, and it's such a big thing for a different generation of people, however.
Yeah. So we connected, I believe, esports a little bit back to Munich and the SAP Garden, which was also a discussion point I think we had with Lars Lamadé, if I remember that correctly, because there's one area that's reserved for esports, I believe, yeah. But coming back to the episode, I've never ever been there now, so I remember at that point in time I wanted to go there and I wanted to find a reason to go there and wanted to get invited or so. And then I know the year happened basically and nobody invited me. So I've never ever been in the SAP. Have you been?
No, I haven't, but I spoke to a colleague of ours here. He won a ticket. He went there. Basically the same experience. He didn't know what to expect. Yeah. He was super surprised by what's happening. He found it entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, so tickets, a good point. Internally, we have these lotteries of tickets for the SAP Garden. If some executives can't make it or so, right? And a few tickets are left, and then you can sometimes participate in a lottery. At the very beginning, I did that, and now I even gave up on that because I don't have time anymore. Really, my weeks are planned, and in the evenings are planned with all kind of sports and other stuff, basically. So I don't even want to go there anymore. It's a bit sad. So if someone still has a ticket or so at some point,
maybe you need to consider if I have time. Yourself with a win somewhere.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. Twice the output.
Twice the output.
Twice the time. But also 2 bodies. It's a problem, right? So it's tough. So 2 minds, 2 bodies.
Just to give you an entry to the next topic that we did.
Oh yeah. What? This is a really great liaison. Thank you so much, actually. 2 things at the same time.
Quantum computing.
Absolutely. Nice.
Didn't really work out.
So
that's so much for sport. The other big block that we did the past year was about quantum computing.
Yeah.
That we also planned a lot. That worked out a lot better.
Yeah, it looks like people in quantum computing are a lot more stable than quantum used to be or uses to be. So, and I remember this is, I mean, for preparation, right? I personally played around a lot with quantum stacks, right, and quantum APIs towards the year end of 2024, and that kind of led to this episode series.
You picked up the topic that I remember where that came from. You picked up the topic in this Code Freeze conference.
At the Code Freeze conference,
and you were all pumped by quantum computing, and that's why we planned that out.
Yeah. I will go again to Code Freeze conference in a couple of weeks. I'm pretty happy that I can go there, but I don't think I will have so much time this year because I'm pretty down in work, and that's going to be work that will continue during the Code Freeze conference. I remember last year I really came with my quantum balls and printouts and a prepared script, and we had a quantum session there, right? So there were like 10 people or so maybe, and we discussed quantum computing, and there were a couple of good questions that really made us all dig a bit deeper and understand a bit more about all these different logic gates, I believe that's how it was called, and stuff like that. That was great. And also, when it comes to quantum, right? And by the way, I almost forget, right? So we kind of we chose our winner more or less, right? Or our favorite episode, right? Without saying, of course, the others were bad, but I think for sports it was definitely esports with Sandra Bloy. I think that's where we liked a lot.
Definitely the most eye-opening.
For qubits and quantum, basically. Sorry, not qubits, quantum. I think the first episode with Isabel Le, I believe, from the TU Munich.
She gave us all that overview over all the theoretical concepts and how
that was
all
my
of
favorite.
That really worked. And I have to agree in both choices. For Sandra, it was the most eye-opening experience to learn about esports and what it is, being this outsider to that technology. And Isabel gave us, she explained those concepts in a way I could follow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's maybe it's logical kind of because quantum is such a complex topic that automatically the episode that gives you an overview becomes your favorite episode because that's where you understood most, basically. But it was also on local here.
Beyond the pure theory. Yeah. We did also talk on a few hands-on examples. We had Anselme, who was explaining why quantum computing is such a big thing for security and safety on the internet, why the current state of security is basically at risk with the introduction of quantum computing, and those algorithms that are in use today can be easily broken with a quantum computer. Like, it's all of a theoretical situation right now, but the expectation is it will happen sometime sooner or later, and we need to transition to something quantum safe. Going forward, that's what Anselme did.
Then we also, we talked to Nadim, right, about solutions in retail, basically, that potentially might require a quantum stack, because we have just a trillion options of kind of whatever in the supply chain, more or less.
Big shout out to Nadim. Like, we had so many conversations, and he was so not sure whether he could contribute to this show.
And he delivered.
And he totally delivered. Shout out to Nadim. Thank you for
absolutely
coming
well done
on the show.
Very cool show.
I learned so much.
With Laure Lebas, we talked about the European Union and some consortium, basically the quantum consortium, I believe, right? So that was more like the standardization track and the different influences when it comes to quantum. And then I think the final episode that we did was with Robert Wille. I think he's also from the TU Munich, if I remember correctly.
He's from the technical university, and he contributes to the Qiskit technology SDK that allows to program quantum computers, basically.
So that's really the development stack that we discussed here.
Stack to introduce that abstraction layer between quantum hardware and your notebook, more or less, to allow to give you that interface to program that computer.
And it's maybe also, I think, one important learning. I'm not sure from whom I learned that, Isabel or Robert, basically, but traditional computing will not be replaced, right? Quantum computing will have a very specialized area in the whole world of computing when it comes about very complex tasks, basically, that a normal computer would just not be perfect to do. So that's my takeaway. And I think that the whole topic now, in retrospective, what really happened in 2025 when it came to quantum, not so much in the end, right?
And that's very much the consensus I got from all the background conversations we had. Like, well, the excitement is big, the advancements are not so much. Like, it's moving forward, it's moving steadily, but it's not going to happen within the next 2 or 3 years. That's kind of the sense I got from all the conversations I had. Like, there's a big industry around that. And Robert, we met at a tech fair here in Munich. And so there is an industry, there's companies, everything's going on, but it's slower.
And most likely this will mean that it will basically be a bit invisible now for the next couple of months and years, maybe. And then there will be a big bang, right?
Unless
there will be a big
somebody
bang.
makes a big announcement.
Exactly. When something just simply works and there's a clear use case that you can fulfill with quantum computing, like breaking cryptography or doing something else positively. And then this will suddenly, very quickly come back to the surface, I guess.
Let's see whether we have quantum computing once again next year. I think we have a few conversations lined up on that.
But the next big topic that we covered in 2025 was, of course, the whole world of AI, right?
But it's not the next big topic. It's like the dominating topic,
I mean,
right?
Yes. But the next topic that we covered, and the only topic that we covered from there on.
On my notes, we sorted that, and it looks like it's the next big topic, but actually the episodes have been spread all over. We filled a few blanks in the sports series.
And before we go into this huge topic, actually, and all the episodes that we did, right? We did so many cool episodes. Just see it here on the screen. Let's talk a bit about our private experience with AI, right? So I just recently told you about Comet, for example, which is Perplexity's browser, which I really love now, and it makes so much sense because just really the last couple of days there was I had to summarize some feedback that was given, and it was actually spanning a Word document, multiple GitHub issues, and another online place where someone left some feedback, right? And it was amazing with the Comet browser, basically, and this assistant mode. I was just able to throw the URLs at it, tell it basically, look up the feedback that was given, summarize for each person, basically, that was giving feedback, and it worked. Right? Normally, this would not work if you would just put a URL into, let's say, Gemini or so, it doesn't work because they don't have the same authentication, right? To log into, let's say,
the browser
Word or whatever.
does. Okay.
The browser does.
Okay.
Exactly. So I was able to summarize all that feedback.
Basically act on your behalf, like true agentic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other moment where I really liked having kind of an agentic browser more or less was, I think I remember when I had to add a long list of email addresses to a distribution list. And that's just an insanely stupid task. And unfortunately, there was no way to automate that. There was no script that could be written because it's just
CSV import somewhere.
No, that didn't exist.
Okay.
So you had to kind of use a UI for that. And I just told Komet to do it. It took a long time because I think the way it works is kind of, it takes more or less screenshots, analyzes the screenshots, then goes to the next level.
I do remember before this became popular, like sometime middle of the year, we one of the first guests we had here was Christoph Spannagel. He's a colleague of ours, and he does research about like exactly that type of agentic use cases, that to put AI in the situation to click through web pages.
Absolutely, yeah.
And back then I do remember he made that joke. He uses his own research to click through mandatory corporate trainings.
Yeah.
Nobody would ever do that.
And he mentioned he would want to do that, right?
He told us it failed. It didn't work.
Yeah.
It's probably still not working.
But that's correct. That was a great episode with Christoph because we was really about controlling the browser with AI. And now after a couple of months, I personally basically finally end up there basically using AI also in the browser. And I saw that it makes sense. Yeah, it's also definitely also a bit scary because you could tell it like, go to eBay, put something into the cart and check out. And it kind of does it, right? There are some guardrails built in, but
how did you get your watch?
What do you mean? I put it into the cart and checked out, and I did it manually actually. So
after the agent,
but okay, that's a good point. I had a task running that was checking the prices daily on multiple price comparison sites for me. And then Black Friday was over, and the price still hasn't dropped. And I felt like I want to get that extra rebate. And then I basically sadly waited for another week after Black Friday until a friend told me, Sven, I think you would be way happier if you had that watch. Don't care about the price. And I said, okay.
Let's go with it.
I bought it for a higher price, actually.
So there was some agentic involved in that.
Yeah, but it didn't help.
Purchase. Anyway, we spoke to many more people about AI in one way or another.
Yeah.
Another person we talked to was Heiko Hotz.
Well, with him we talked about all the standardization stuff, right?
Yeah.
MCP and A2A.
We didn't talk about that agentic payment protocol that came out a couple of weeks later, which would have been exactly that case. But we talked to Heiko about MCP and agent-to-agent protocol, for which his employer Google has set some standards. Well, MCP is by Anthropic, but it's an industry standard. And we spoke a lot about A2A, and they have an SDK for that, and they make it very simple. That's what I took away from that episode.
Yeah.
Build agents that are capable of talking to others.
I think, to be honest with you, from a technology perspective, there's no doubt that MCP will be there for a long time, and A2A, I also take it as a given by now, right? So,
it was hot when we did the episode. That was all of this is moving so quick. This happened in August, I think, just after the summer break. We spoke to Heiko. Must have been August.
Yeah, it must have been August after the summer break. Yeah.
And from there, it was a bit of a break. We didn't do a recording for like
a couple of weeks. And then we had one of the highlights this year, I would say.
It was a personal highlight for
great
sure.
episode, right? I mean, it's because we recorded with someone that I just knew Linus actually from conferences, more or less, right? And I've never seen him in real life.
Yeah, same
You've
for me.
Been to Chaos Communications Congress, right? But I'm not sure how close you came to Linus, basically. And in the end, we had him sitting. we met him here in Munich, and we did a remote recording, but we met him basically, right, for this recording, in the end.
And we spoke about the
security.
Security
what could possibly go wrong.
The title was What Could Possibly Go Wrong, and we talked about how all of this is changing, not like you made that experience with your browser to automate your tasks, but obviously automating things also helps the other side, the attacking side, to automate things and make things easier. And obviously that it's an attack and defense game, and both sides have to level up. And that's basically the situation that we are in right now.
Yeah, it also reminds me a little bit of like when you think about what you've done so far that is truly valuable with AI, I must say that the positive side is not that big right now. And that is, to be honest with you, I think that this is also very much my topic right now, actually, as we go in 2026 with SAP, basically, and we prepare for AI use cases and stuff like that. Basically, a lot of companies are still missing a lot of value, right? Real value returned, not just for SAP, across the industry, across the markets, basically, right? And that's what I'm concerned with right now, actually. How can we drive real AI adoption that companies want to use because it really drives their business and has a positive impact, makes something better, basically, right?
We had one other guest who had a tangible example for how AI is making things better. It was not about LLM whatsoever. That we spoke about usage of AI models in industrial processes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And we had Marcus from a company that produces visual, like, what's the exact term? Like visual.
I think it's visual checking systems, more or less, or visual systems, basically, for the industry, right? That help with manufacturing, detecting bad parts and stuff like that.
And he had some very impressive numbers to demonstrate. He was talking about like 80% improvements over the previous process at an implementation time of like 5 days.
But we should also note that this is a completely different area of AI, right? So with all the other episodes, we basically talked about AI as in LLM.
Absolutely,
which became the new normal. Like, AI translates to LLM by now, right? In agentic AI use cases. And he's basically, I mean, that's why the episode was also called Discriminative Edge, right? Discriminative AI, which is basically machine learning, the way we defined AI just months ago, basically, I would say. Right?
However, found an application in a very, very specific and a very narrow use case that allows that particular use case to scale so big, which is, I think he's right on that part, that this is a side that's overseen all too often.
I mean, maybe now in retrospective, right, thinking about the hype cycle of things, for example, I think discriminative AI and machine learning, that's what it translates to, basically, is down in the hype cycle, and it has found a niche, basically, or an area where it's really useful, and there's an undeniable use for this technology, basically, and it has gone through the hype cycle already, right? With agentic AI, we're probably somewhere on the downward curve right now, where a lot of things are being separated. A lot of the lab projects turn out to not be useful, or just be stupid, or not working in real life. And we will come to the point where we'll have agentic use cases that absolutely make sense and really work, basically, in a couple of weeks, months, basically.
Only to move forward in the episodes that we have. Like, we had one more episode that put agentic use case in an entirely different context when we spoke
robotics,
to Adelia and Lukas, and that's something that was pretty obvious but still blew my mind, like to put that agentic AI in the real world. Like that will have, like we figured out, we had the same title for a similar show like a year ago with a guest from a partner the other year. We called it Embodied AI, and now we had, more or less out of coincidence, another opportunity to talk about embodied AI. And among the opening conversations we had was that it's one thing to have a binary protocol having agents talk to each other, whereas robots with an AI must follow a very different protocol to interact with each other. Like robots, imagine robots that shake their hand.
Yeah.
To have that A-to-A communication.
That reminds me a little bit of the video that you once sent me, right? About there was this call, Gibberlink, I believe, right? There was this call where basically in the end, the two agents figure out they're both agents.
Yeah.
And they
switch
to gibber mode, basically. And then from that point on, you don't hear natural language, but you hear like some Morse code going on, more or less, because it's apparently more efficient for them. So
yeah.
And that's an interesting point, right? So how long will we have humans in the loop?
That's
when will humans be obsolete? Let's put it that way.
Start making predictions of what we're going to talk about next year. I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about embodied AI again, and we're talking about some weird A-to-A type of modes that will happen, in particular in that embodied AI world. Like something like Gibberlink seems weird,
see, right?
and the video was a meme, more or less. Somebody made that up.
Yeah,
it's not a real thing, but I think there's a real world use case for that type of thing.
Yeah, totally. And maybe we'll hear that, right? So so let's talk about the what's important 2026 quickly, right? So we have one guest lined up already, which is Yard Oren. He's a global head of research and innovation. Very cool at SAP, right? So he will definitely tell us about what we can expect from 2026, right?
At least no pressure there, but at least that's what I expect from that episode. I want to hear something more, say, official on what's going to happen next year. What are the focus areas? What is it that we will have to put out in our program planning?
Yeah. And
I guess we opened the year with that episode, but we do have a few more ideas in place already.
Yeah, not super concrete, so let's not talk about these actually, but we have definitely some ideas and a rough plan basically, but for now,
stay tuned.
What I have in my head actually is holidays, to be honest with you. What's in your head? So
obviously there is the Christmas holidays.
Did you buy all the presents?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
no agent involved.
Well, tonight, to be honest with you, I should buy one extra little present for my wife, but other than that, I think I have all the presents that I need. We have plans.
No agent involved with that. So I sat down, I thought like, who would like what? And I, with that thought in my mind, I try to be empathic. And with that, I went shopping and I started early this year. I'm prepared.
But did you kind of do all the shopping in one day? So it's kind of you completed it quickly, like very strategically planned and boom, get it over?
No, it's not strategically. It's literally, I want to call it empathically. Like I literally thought about who could like what are my
you started with the receiver.
Persons.
You started with the customer basically.
Like
you thought about the customer and you this is so much product management, right? It's amazing. I love it.
No, it's
reminds me of forward deployed engineering, which I'm just concerned about,
which is just a corporate
customer
way
central,
of,
right?
Yeah, exactly. To put the customer.
So you apply all these work principles to your private life, but no, actually, interesting.
Maybe I learned about something interpersonal and social interactions. My old days, having been the technology guy.
And that's maybe also one recommendation and one plan of mine of obviously with all this digitization in our lives, I think now Christmas time coming up and the break is going to be the in real life time basically. So getting away from the screens, doing something in nature or with people outside, maybe also inside, but not with a lot of technology. I think that's what's coming up for me.
I'm trying to mix both. I'm going to meet people. I plan to meet people. I plan to stay offline as much as I can. So if you want to, I may read. No, I won't read email. Maybe I read YouTube comments if you leave one.
But you're going to be available on Signal, right, for me, hopefully.
Just for you alone.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Just in case I have a crazy idea that we need to discuss for 2026.
I'll do full disclosure there. I'm going to the 39C3 in Hamburg Hamburger Messezentrum. And that's going to be about technology a lot. I figured a few sessions, a few talks that are about AI, the impact of AI on all sorts of our lives. But I do plan to experience that very much offline and talk to people.
I mean, I'm also I'm not gonna be there, but what's kind of has become a tradition for me is to watch all these streams live, right? You can, the major streams, I believe you can watch them live from the Chaos Communication Congress. And I'm obviously also very much interested in how AI develops, how it shapes our lives and the business and everything basically, and well, how we can turn it into the best, basically, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to take to Code Freeze conference, which is this crazy conference in the northern of
Code Freeze like a week or two later, right?
Exactly. So I'm going to be at Code Freeze, and it's an unconference, so I can basically pretty much put onto the agenda whatever I like to discuss. And I think agentic AI or AI in general, how it affects us, basically, society, our business, our lives, definitely a topic. It's not so much different from last year, though. So we're gonna have one episode, I believe, also from Code Freeze, right?
We plan to have let's see. One more. Like we're opening the year, like we're ending the year in person. We're going to open the year.
Just realize we're gonna talk about your experience at the conference, at the Chaos Communication Conference, right? And I'm gonna be at Code Freeze. So that's gonna be interesting to bring these two perspectives together, actually, and see what comes up in 2026. For now.
And with that, we have a bit of a plan. We're going to end with that. Guess we have to wish all of you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll meet early next year.
Yeah. Tell all your friends, subscribe, Merry Christmas, and bye-bye.
See you soon.